Welcome to Money Talks, the show where we discuss the financial questions that affect our daily lives. I'm your host, Sarah. Today, we're tackling a topic many couples face. Should you combine your finances into a joint bank account? It's a decision with strong opinions on both sides, touching on trust, independence, and teamwork in a relationship. To explore this, we have two guests. Ben believes joint accounts are the best way forward for couples. Welcome, Ben.
Thanks for having me, Sarah.
And Chloe argues that separate, or perhaps hybrid accounts, offer important benefits. Welcome, Chloe.
Happy to be here, Sarah.
Great, let's dive in. Ben, perhaps you could start by sharing why you support joint accounts?
Certainly, Sarah, thank you. For me, the main reason is simplicity. Having one main account where income goes in and shared bills go out just makes life easier. Think about it. Rent or mortgage payments, electricity, water, groceries, internet bills. Managing all of that from one place reduces confusion and saves time. You always know the core expenses are covered. Beyond the practical side, I believe a joint account really helps build trust and teamwork in a relationship. It's a clear sign that you see your finances and your future as shared. When money is pooled, you naturally have to communicate more about spending and saving. You sit down together, look at the numbers, and plan for shared goals. Maybe you want to save for a holiday, a new car, or even a down payment on a house. A joint account makes that goal feel more real, more like a team effort. Some people worry it means losing independence. I see it differently. I think it encourages transparency and honesty. It forces you to discuss financial habits and expectations openly, which is essential for a strong partnership. It's not about controlling each other, it's about working together. Ultimately, managing money together through a joint account reflects the partnership itself, building a life together, openly and honestly.
Thanks, Sarah. Ben makes some good points about simplicity and teamwork, and I agree communication is key. However, I think separate, or perhaps hybrid accounts, offer crucial benefits. The biggest one for me is financial independence. Having your own money means you can make personal spending choices without feeling like you need permission or have to explain every purchase. For example, buying a birthday gift for your partner is much nicer when they can't see the transaction beforehand. Or spending money on a personal hobby, like art supplies or gym membership, feels less complicated. It's not about hiding things, but about maintaining a sense of personal space and autonomy within the relationship, which I think is healthy. Another important point is reducing potential arguments. Let's be honest. Couples often have different attitudes towards money. One might be a natural saver, the other enjoys spending more freely. With separate accounts, there's less friction, because you're primarily managing your own funds for personal spending. You worry less about your partner's individual choices. Separate accounts also offer clarity and protection. If one partner comes into the relationship with significant debt or receives a personal inheritance, keeping finances separate can make things legally and emotionally clearer. But I'm not necessarily saying ms thesis tort must be separate. A popular compromise is the yours, mine, and ours system. Each person keeps their own account, and you also have one joint account specifically for shared household expenses. You both contribute an agreed amount to the joint account each month. This way, you get the convenience for shared bills that Ben mentioned, but you keep your financial independence for everything else. It still needs discussion, but the type of discussion might be different.
Interesting points from both of you, Ben. Chloe raised the issue of financial independence and potentially avoiding arguments if partners have different spending habits. How does a fully joint system handle situations where, say, one person saves diligently and the other likes to spend more freely?
That's a valid question. I believe a joint account doesn't mean a free-for-all. It actually requires good communication and budgeting. Couples need to sit down and agree on a budget together. This budget can, and should, include allowances for personal spending for each person. So you decide together, okay, from our joint income, After bills and savings, we each get X amount per month to spend however we like, no questions asked. This way, you still have personal spending money, but it's within an agreed framework. It encourages discussion about financial priorities, rather than letting differences cause hidden tension. It builds teamwork skills.
Okay, so budgeting and agreed personal allowances are key in your view. Chloe, Ben talked earlier about simplicity and teamwork. Isn't managing 3 accounts, yours, mine, and ours, more complicated? And how do you ensure fairness, especially if incomes are quite different?
It might seem more complicated at first glance, but in practice, it can be quite straightforward, especially with modern banking. Most people can set up automatic transfers easily. You calculate the total shared monthly expenses, rent, utilities, groceries, etc., and then decide how to fund the joint account. It doesn't have to be 50-50 if that's not fair. Many couples contribute proportionally to their income. If one person earns 60% of the total household income, they contribute 60% of the shared expenses to the joint account. This requires an open conversation, but it can feel very fair. Budgeting apps can also help track everything easily. So, yes, it needs management, but it preserves that individual control over the rest of your money, which many people value highly. It still needs discussion, but the type of discussion might be different.
It sounds like good communication and clear agreements are absolutely essential, regardless of the system you choose.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Let's shift focus slightly to larger, shared goals. Saving for something big, like buying a house or funding retirement together. Ben, how do fully joint accounts make this easier?
I think it provides great clarity and motivation. When all the money intended for that goal is building up in one visible place, say a joint savings account linked to the main joint account, both partners see the progress directly. It constantly reinforces the idea that we are working towards our future. Every contribution feels like a step forward together. It simplifies tracking and makes the goal feel more attainable as a team. It removes any ambiguity about who is saving what. It's all our savings for our goal.
That makes sense. Chloe, how would couples using separate or hybrid accounts approach saving for a major shared goal like a house deposit?
They absolutely still can, and there are a few ways. One common method is to set up a dedicated joint time savings account, separate from the joint spending account used for bills. Both partners agree to transfer a certain amount from their personal accounts into this joint savings account each month. So the saving itself happens in a shared pot, similar to Ben's point about visibility. Alternatively, if partners prefer different saving or investment strategies, they might agree on individual savings targets. You save X amount in your way, I'll save Y amount in my way, and we'll pool it when we reach the target. The key, again, is agreeing on the total goal and the contribution plan.
What about unexpected large expenses? Say, the car needs a major repair, or there's an urgent medical bill. If most money is in personal accounts, who covers it?
That's where having a joint emergency fund becomes really important in the hybrid model. Part of the regular contribution to shared finances should ideally go into this buffer fund, held jointly. If the joint emergency fund isn't enough or doesn't exist, the couple needs to discuss it. They might decide to split the cost from their personal accounts, or one person might cover it if they have more readily available funds, perhaps with an agreement to balance things out later. It requires communication at that moment.
Which highlights again why having the main funds pooled can be simpler in emergencies. The money is just for shared problems, without needing an extra discussion about who pays from where.
True, it might require a specific discussion, but that discussion ensures both partners are aware and agree on how the unexpected cost is handled, maintaining transparency even with separate funds.
For me, it comes back to the idea of partnership. A joint account is a practical tool, yes, but it's also symbolic. It simplifies your financial life, encourages openness, and forces you to work as a team, tackling budgets, goals, and challenges together. It truly reflects building one life together.
And I believe that a strong partnership can absolutely include financial individuality. separate or hybrid accounts, respect personal space and autonomy. They can reduce conflict over spending differences and provide clarity, while still allowing couples to effectively manage shared responsibilities and save for the future together. The best system respects the needs of both individuals.
Thank you both, Ben and Chloe, for sharing your perspectives so clearly today. You've given us excellent arguments for both joint and more separate approaches to couple finances. What seems clear is that there's no single right answer. The best system depends on the couple's personalities, circumstances, and communication style. The most important thing is to talk openly and honestly about money, expectations, and goals. And find a system that feels fair and comfortable for both partners. That's all the time we have for Money Talks today. Join us next week when we'll be discussing teaching children about financial responsibility. Goodbye for now.